Hey gang, this video is going to be a little rough. I'm going to talk about some things that I really haven't spoken to anyone about. I think only two people may know everything. And please, I know the title looks and sounds like clickbait, but what it is truth. And I guess I need to give some background before I actually explain what happened. First off, moving is 99.9%. We're packing and cleaning and shifting stuff around and getting ready to move. Where we're moving back to is literally the place we moved from to come here. When we left there, my son, first grader at the time, first and second grade, was getting jumped physically after school every day. 6, 8 kids would assault him. And we lived basically 4 blocks from the school, so it was a walk. There was no bus. Everyone in our neighborhood walked to that school. And the school wouldn't do anything about it. Once he stepped off school property, it wasn't their responsibility. Although the road that he was getting jumped on legitimately ran side by side with their playground. And if you would do anything else illegal there, you would be charged with being in a school zone. Along with that, there were numerous overdoses, assaults, robberies. The neighborhood wasn't good. And there were some other financial things, and I really thought if we took this place and moved here, that they would give them a fresh start and really help alleviate. Well, the alleviate didn't work. Now, shortly after we left down there, maybe 5 or 6 months, someone was shot and killed. Numerous arrests have been made. They did a lot to clear out the neighborhood, and a lot of people moved out. It's changed drastically since I was there. Now I'm hoping that it's truthfully different, and we'll make it work no matter what. But the final breaking point was getting robbed at gunpoint in my own house. I was always an evening person. I've never been a morning person. 9, 10, 11 p.m. I was always up watching television, playing games, talking to people on the phone, whatever. And one evening, I got a knock at the door. It was 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. And I wasn't expecting anyone, but I asked who it was, and they replied with a name that I knew. I thought maybe this person was in trouble, or they needed something, or... And when I opened the door, I was facing 3 guys in masks with guns. I slammed the door quickly, locked it, and immediately one of the 3 started throwing his body weight into the door, and it started cracking the door sill. So I leaned up against the door. At which point I was told if I didn't move, they were going to start firing through the door. So I moved. I backed off, and they broke my door in. Completely busted the frame from the wall, and came in my house. Now, they didn't come for my Xbox or my televisions or my video games. They came for what little money I had and my medication. Now, part of this, I guess, is my own fault because I accepted help from neighbors and a few teenagers in the neighborhood to cut my grass and do things that were physically hard for me, and it often they helped me out. But word also got out about my situation, that I was physically broken, that I took medication every day. Well, once they broke in, they put me in a chair, smacked me across the face with the butt of a handgun, and started tearing up my living room, ripped up my couch, tore through everything on the shelves, went in my kitchen, pulled stuff out of my laundry area, and I have all my medication in a bucket, which I still have today, a little thing with a lid on it. They dumped it on the floor and started pulling everything out of it, and they weren't satisfied. At the point they weren't satisfied, one of the trio put the barrel of a gun on my leg and threatened to shoot me through the knee. There's nothing else I could do. I have nothing else. When they finally realized that they had gotten everything they could possibly get, including my phone, they walked out my front door like they belonged there. Now, they took my phone and threw it in the weeds about a half a block from my house. They took every medication I had, blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, they took it, which is insane. It made no sense. And I understand the mindset. I understand that addiction, that point where we're looking for a way to get that monkey off their back. And I'd never gotten to that point that I would do something like that. I'd never understood that point. But to go from there, to sit in your house, and of course they also took my driver's license, my pictures of my kids, everything out of my wallet. And one of the last things that I remember was the guy showing my driver's license and basically saying, "We know who you are." So you get to that point, and you hear those stories about people not wanting to call the police, and you understand. No one was going to know who these three are. No one was going to find them. There wasn't anything left behind. There was no really describing them other than one guy being a little heavyset. So what do you do? Wait a few minutes till you think it's safe, till you think they've gone far enough away, and walk across the street and knock on someone else's door and have them call someone that you know as your friend from the neighborhood, and they come and help you sort it out. And where do you go from there? We immediately called and had an alarm system put in. But even with an alarm system, once it was in, literally every time we would leave the house, the alarm would go off. To the point that it made you question whether it was working or not, or whether someone was setting it off to try to time how things went. But it just became so stressful that we couldn't stay there. It wasn't home anymore. Now again, since that happened, since we left, a lot's changed there. I've changed a lot since then. But that it was my biggest concern about going back, is making sure that my family's safe, that I'm safe, that that kind of thing doesn't go on there anymore. And from what I understand, it doesn't. You know, once that person lost their life, it really pushed on law enforcement and neighbors and, you know, the community to really step in, to finally take a hard look at what was there. So from the people I've talked to and from what we've seen, it's a much different place, and it's back to being somewhere where you can feel okay about being there. And of course, my sons are older, and they'd be going to a different school, and it's an out bus ride, so I don't have to worry about that. And my son's also went from being a no one to being an orange belt in karate, so he knows a little more about how to defend himself. So I'm taking the positive outlook, and you know, destiny has a weird way of taking you places you need to be, and perhaps that's where I need to be. Perhaps that's where I should have been. Maybe I shouldn't have left. Don't know. Maybe I needed to be here for as long as I was. You know, maybe that was the thing that needed to happen. It did happen, so it must have been. The good news to the whole thing is it's a bigger house. It gives my kids more room. It has a front and backyard, so they have space to play. And there are rules here that they don't have there. Like here, my kids can't even have a little blow-up pool or, you know, a mini trampoline or any of that kind of stuff. They can't have a swing set. Nothing. That stuff's not allowed here. There, they can have whatever I can get for them. And I think that would do them well. They miss that kind of thing. And really, I kind of miss the freedom of being that much farther out of town. I like the quiet. It's also not near an air base, so I don't have to deal with airplanes flying overhead a couple times a day. So for the most part, I'm looking forward to the move. I don't. Moving is always rough. No matter if it's something you want to do or something you don't want to do. Leaving things behind, leaving a place behind, always is a little tough. And you just have to look forward to the new things. What's going to happen now? What's the next step? What's the next memory that's going to be made? You know, when's the next, I guess, boo-boo going to happen that you're going to have to fix because someone fell and scraped their knee, or When's the next time that someone will ride a skateboard or a bike or bounce on their first trampoline? So I'm hoping it all goes well. It's going to be a hard process because I'm not physically the person I used to be. It's going to take help from a lot of my kids and some other people to get things like this old couch I'm sitting on there and the fridge and everything. So, and of course, moving my ISP is going to be an interesting swap too. Sorry, I've got to cut this video here. My grandsons just showed up, so anyway, I hope that kind of explains my, I guess, attitude toward this whole thing and why I've been tentative, and we'll see. Things will work out. I always find a way, and it will this time. And as long as my family stays together and sticks with it, well, things will be okay. As all of you all, thank you very much for everything you've done for me, and I will see you all later.